Dear students, I hope you're enjoying the subject entomology, and till date we have talked about the characteristic features of insects and what is a pest. Today I would discuss the damage caused by the pest insects. Now this topic I would be dealing under four parts, and today I would start with the damage caused by pests as part 1. When we talk about the insects earlier, I had, if you all remember, discussed that there are different types of mouth parts an insect possesses. And if we talk about the damage caused by insects, I would mainly be concentrating here on insects which damage our crops, mostly in the fields and of course in the storehouses. But here concentrating more on the crops which are cultivated during agricultural practices, uh, the insects which cause damage, and what is the nature of the damage which insect cause. And if we start with the basic type of mouth parts, if we differentiate, are of basically two types. One is chewing type and the other is sucking type. Now this depends upon the feeding habit, what kind of feed they take or what kind of food they eat. Depending upon that, they have their, the insect possesses a mouth part, and depending on the same, the damage caused. So talking about the damage caused, insects utilize the plants to derive their nutrition or as a habitat. Such injury to plants by the insects is reflected as economic loss to the farmers. Definitely, because the agriculture produce, which is actually the farmer is growing and is meant for the human being or their animals, which are being during animal husbandry practices are reared by the human beings. So the crop basically is meant for that, and if any injury is caused to such cultivated plants, it is an economic loss to the farmers and to the human or the mankind as such. The nature of injury or damage to the plant is related to the feeding habits of the insect. The nature and symptoms of damage caused by insects based on their feeding habits according to the modification of their mouthparts is number one, biting and chewing type. So the insects which possess biting and chewing type of mouthparts, that is, they have well developed mandibles. So these are therefore also termed as mandibulate type of mouthparts. These are adapted for biting and chewing of the plant material. They bite leaves, buds, bracts, slender twigs, etc., chew the bitten portions and swallow them. Leaves may be eaten up completely, leaving only a network of veins. For examples, the grasshoppers, the caterpillars, and the beetles. They can be controlled effectively with stomach poisons when taken in along with food. Now, see, the grasshoppers, they have, if you remember the life cycle, the adults and nymphs both have a chewing type of mouthparts. But if we talk about the caterpillars, now the caterpillars actually are the larvae of the Lepidopterans. Lepidopteran adults have a different kind of mouthparts. They have a proboscis, while the caterpillars have mandibular type of mouthparts, that is, they have the chewing type of mouthpart. That is why the major harm is caused by the larval condition of the Lepidopterans and not the adults. Adults are helpful as pollinators. Based on the nature of damage, chewing insects can be classified into different groups as mentioned below. The stem borers. Now, larvae enter into the stem and feed on internal contents. As a result, damaged part is cut off from the main plant and affected part wilts, dries up and exhibit symptoms like dead heart during vegetative stage and white ear during reproductive stage, as in case of paddy due to larval feeding inside the stem, and they can be easily pulled out, and bunchy top in case of sugarcane. And in these such cases, destruction of growing point results in the activation of side buds just below the growing point and produces a bunch of side shoots called bunchy top. Now, the stem borers are actually the larvae which bore inside the stem of a plant, and as they enter, the larvae enter the stem, and the soft tissue inside is damaged, is eaten up. What happens is that soft tissue which is eaten up, as a result, only the outermost part is there, while the major part which is meant for ascent of sap and translocation of other fluids and nutrients is damaged, is eaten up. So what kind of a plant is left is the only the outermost wall of the stem is there, and the middle soft part is gone. So such a plant is now known as a dead heart, because it doesn't have the soft tissue inside, that is, its heart portion is not there, and the plant is therefore termed as a dead heart. Shoot borers. Larvae attack tender shoots and bore inside during vegetative stage of uh, crop growth and cause wilting, drooping of terminal plant parts, which later dry up. The shoot borers. So the stem and shoot borers are they're just categorized, but the nature of damage caused is similar in both the cases. Defoliators or skeletonizers. Now, defoliators, as the name indicates, that the leaves fall off, and because the leaves are the main photosynthetic organelles, or the uh, parts of a plant, they synthesize the food for the plant, and if the plant loses them, if that only is not present, how would the plant survive? Larvae feed on the leaves completely, leaving only midrib or the veins, or scrape the chlorophyll content of leaves, or cause numerous holes, like the castor semilooper, the ash weevils, the tobacco caterpillar, the epilachnor beetle on brinjal, so on and so forth. There are many such insects which damage the leafy portion, defoliate the plant, leaving only the skeleton of the plant, and that is why these are also known as skeletonizers. The leaf miners. As the name indicates, miner is to mine, like the mines. So they move in between the layers of the leaf, the upper epidermis and the lower epidermis, and in between they feed on all the greeny part, or the fleshy part, the chlorophyll part. So if that whole fleshy part, which is basically meant for photosynthesis, is eaten up by the larvae, definitely the leaves they die off, and finally it results in the death of the plant as well. Larvae mine leaflets between the epidermal layers and feed on greenish matter, resulting in the appearance of translucent mines, white patches, zigzag galleries, for example, the leaf miners of citrus, cashew, and the rice whisper. The leaf webbers. Larvae web leaflets by means of silken threads and feed on the chlorophyll content by remaining within the web. Often fecal pellets or frass are found within the web. For example, the leaf webbers on gingerly, groundnut, sapota, mango, and cashew shoot and blossom webber. As the name indicates, webber. And the leaves are webbed, are joined together, and then the insect or the larvae, it feeds on the internal chlorophyll content. So definitely, if the leaf chlorophyll content is eaten up, and the photosynthesis activity is hampered, similarly the fecal pellets and the excreta of the insects, it gets accumulated within that area of the closed web, which is formed by the webbers, the leaf webbers. They are not able to, it is not exposed properly to the sunlight, and hence the photosynthesis activity is not proper, and the food is not synthesized. The leaf folders. Larvae fold leaves from tip to base longitudinally, margin to margin, thereby giving appearance of a fold or a roll, and scrape the chlorophyll content remaining within the fold. Similarly, in the earlier case, there was a web, many leaves being utilized for the purpose. In this case, the folders, the leaf, a single leaf is folded or is rolled around, and the insect, the larvae, it remains in the rolled area which is like a small pipe inside, and that chlorophyll again of the plant or the leaf is eaten up. And because the chlorophyll is eaten up, definitely the process of photosynthesis is hindered, and because of this activity, the leaf dies off, and then at the end of the day the plant also dries up. Like the rice leaf folder, the cotton leaf roller, a bell-shaped rolling of a leaf is resulted because of the of such insects, that is cotton leaf roller. So all these losses, uh, these are the kind of damage which are caused by the chewing type of insects, which either feed on the internal soft content of the stem, which are the borers, which bore inside, or in some cases they are the defoliators, and in the leaf folders, the webbers, they all eat the chlorophyll of the leaf, maybe leaf miners, but they eat the chlorophyll content, and result in the damage to the crop. Thank you.